Everybody, it's Jets Central coming back with another video with a really hot topic right now within the Jets community amongst Jets fans, and that is quarterback Kirk Cousins right now with the Washington Redskins. And I mean, everybody's heard the talks, the rumors, the rumblings that Kirk Cousins might not be a Redskin next season. He might be playing for another team next year and for years to come. Everybody, fans all across everywhere really thought that the 49ers made the perfect sense. It was a match made in heaven. You know, you look at the Niners, not only did they have a need at quarterback, but they had the money to pay for him. And Kyle Shanahan has worked with Kirk Cousins in the past with Washington. He's had success with him. They're buddies off the field, and they basically have the same mindset and the same goals as far as, they're on the same wavelength as far as football goes. Football IQ, they get each other. It just looked like the perfect fit, right? Cousins to San Francisco. And the 49ers go ahead on trade deadline day, and they throw a wrench in the whole thing, and they make this blockbuster trade by acquiring quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo from the New England Patriots for a second-round pick. So it only makes sense that the 49ers are not going to shell out over $100 million on Kirk Cousins when they just acquired a young quarterback, which they gave up a high draft pick for. So it opens up the door for teams like the Cleveland Browns, the Jacksonville Jaguars, possibly the Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe the Minnesota Vikings, and of course the New York Jets to enter in this Kirk Cousins sweepstakes that could possibly go down for, this offseason when free agency starts. All depending on whether or not Washington wants to re-sign him or not. If I was Washington, I would shell out the cash for Kirk. I think he's the real deal. As far as him possibly coming to the New York Jets, really interesting topic, right? Really interesting debate amongst Jets fans, A lot of Jets fans want us to go after Kirk. A lot of fans want us to still see what we have in Hackenberg and Petty. Some fans want us to draft, I guess the new era or the new young stud quarterback with our first round pick, and some fans want us just to go forward with Josh McCown. So there's so many different takes and so many different angles that you can look at this, but I'm just gonna make this video and kind of just pretend, or I just dish out my thoughts on Kirk Cousins possibly coming to the New York Jets, my thoughts on it, my takes, and if we should. So here we go. Kirk Cousins, assuming he becomes a free agent, if I'm the New York Jets, I'm taking a real hard look at him. Because not only do I think Kirk Cousins has had success in the NFL, but I think he fits John Morton's system. Watching a lot of Kirk Cousins tape, I think he would come in and he would fit day one, obviously as the starting quarterback, but he'd come in day one and understand the system, understand the philosophy that John Morton wants to do. This short passing, intermediate passing with a nice little run balance, or nice little balance of run and pass, basically a West Coast system. I think it's pretty similar to Kyle Shanahan's system over in San Francisco, where he's had some success and some knowledge of that system. And I think he would come in and be a great system fit. But now, of course, you have to look at what does it take to bring Kirk in the building. Because we have a need at quarterback. We have to be real here. We have that need, and Kirk Cousins is an upgrade over Hackenberg, Petty, and McCown. It is what it is. He's younger and he's better. So what does it take to bring Kirk in the building? It's going to take over $100 million, right? That's just the norm these days. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't think all these quarterbacks are worth this much money. But if teams are willing to pay this position that much amount of money, then it is what it is. There's really nothing I can do about it as far as just accept it and move on. So it's going to take over $100 million to bring Kirk Cousins in the building. That's something that, that's where a lot of Jets fans kind of jump ship and just say, maybe, this isn't the greatest idea, because if he doesn't work out, we have to pay him over $100 million. We have to pay him his guarantees. I mean, no matter what, unless we trade him. But if he's not going well, who's going to want to trade for him? So that's something that's like the big key, right? Getting Kirk Cousins in the building. How do you do that? It comes down to money. It all comes down to the money, right? Are you willing to shell out over $100 million for Kirk Cousins? Some say yes, some say no. I would say the majority of people right now would say yes, because The Jets have a ton of money to spend, and the Jets have that dire need at quarterback. We've been starved from a quarterback for so long. I mean, when was the last franchise quarterback that you could count week in, week out, year in, year out, and have a decent shot to get to the playoffs each and every season? It's been a long time, right? We just have to be real with ourselves. It's been a long time, and the possibility of Kirk Cousins coming to the Jets excites a lot of folks, right? It excites the Jets fans because Kirk Cousins is more talented than really, I want to say, the Jets quarterback position in the last 10 to 15 seasons. He is more talented than everybody that's stacked up or that has at least played, got and started games for the Jets. He's that talented. I mean, so once you kind of come to grips with the idea of that you have to pay Kirk Cousins over $100 million, once you accept that, once you kind of come to that understanding and are okay with it and want to move forward with that, then you start looking at what Kirk has done, right? Is he worth it? Because even though these quarterbacks are getting paid these massive amounts of guaranteed money and stuff, are they worth it? Do you think you could find value in the draft or with other free agent quarterbacks, with maybe like a Tyrod Taylor, maybe a Sam Bradford, Nick Foles, Teddy Bridgewater, who knows, would you want to travel down that route? But as far as Kirk Cousins goes, what has he done with Washington? He's won some games, and I just got to be real with you guys. I really like Cousins. I think I like him because he's faced so much adversity in his short NFL career. I mean, he was drafted in 2012, and in that span, since 2012, he has faced so much adversity. With being a third or fourth round draft selection, coming in as a quarterback behind the second pick in the draft, where the Washington Redskins just threw away their whole future to go up and get RG3. So right off the bat, Kirk Cousins comes into a situation where it's almost like he has no light at the end of the tunnel. Basically saying, well, the Washington Redskins just picked a quarterback in front of me in the first round, let alone the second pick in the draft. They basically threw away their whole future to go up and get this guy. I'm basically just being drafted here to be the backup. I mean, it is what it is. So he came into a really tough situation right off the bat. A situation that looks really bleak on him getting starting reps. It's a tough spot, right? It's a really tough spot. Kirk Cousins sat there. RG3 has this amazing rookie season. They make the playoffs and everything. Everyone knows the history with RG3 with the injury bug and whatnot. And Kirk Cousins not only deals with it, but he also faces some adversity. He struggles early on in his Redskins career. Once he got the starting gig, he struggled with throwing interceptions. He didn't like to be hit. I still don't really think he likes to be hit. But nevertheless, he struggles early in his career. He faces a lot of adversity. Kirk Cousins has paid his dues, and right now, looking at Cousins, he is a starting NFL quarterback. He is a franchise guy, in my opinion. Each and every year he gets better. He tends to eat with every year that passes by, his leadership seems to grow, and he seems to get a little bit more confident and a little bit more confident with each and every season that passes by. These past two seasons, he's made the playoffs, and he's thrown for tons and tons of yards. I mean, it's really incredible when you look at Kirk Cousins' resume with the Redskins, with coming in, not being given the starting spot, having to work. I mean, he's paid his dues. He's worked his tail off to become this Redskins starter. Once he became the starter, he struggled. There's more adversity with that, with throwing the INTs, with the leadership skills. He's paid his dues. And right now, I think when it's all said and done, when Kirk Cousins looks back on his Washington Redskins career, I think he's going to say, I faced a lot of adversity. I really worked my tail off, and just coming in and working and giving it his all every day, this is what got him here. This is what's going to get him paid. Now, as far as, him coming to the New York Jets, I would like it. If the Jets go out, first year free agency or whatever, and we sign Kirk Cousins, I'm going to be behind him. I'm going to be pumped up, and I'm going to be extremely excited. the route I would prefer would be the draft route, right? I really want Josh Rosen. I would love Josh Allen. I'm even taking a real hard look at Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma, just because it's a cheaper route. I kind of want, this young team to grow as one, not just have like really old players here, really young players here, and then have like the middle of the road players, just kind of placed all around the team. I kind of want us to grow as one unit from the ground up, being young, grow old together, and that's really what I want the Jets to do. But like I was saying before, if we go ahead and we sign Kirk, I'm going to be behind him. I'll buy a Kirk Cousins jersey. I will love Kirk Cousins because I love him off the field. I love him on the field. I think he's going to be a system fit. It's just the one thing that makes you, pump the brakes is that over $100 million. God, that's so much money that you could be spending in other areas. So it all basically comes down to that. Are you willing to shell out the cash? Some say yes, some say no. That's really what it comes down to, right? Because if you're not willing to pay that much money, then Kirk Cousins will not be a Jet. But if the Jets are, if they have the money here and they like Cousins and they want him to come in, we already know he's an upgrade, then he possibly could be a Jet. So, I really want to be a fly on the wall right now on what Mike Maccagnan is talking about with John Morton and Todd Bowles as far as the draft and free agency. So, those are my thoughts on Kirk Cousins. I would like Cousins as a Jet. Don't get me wrong. I would take a real hard look at him. I would do the offer. I would make an offer to him. But, if he declines, it's not the end of the world, So, it is what it is. So let me know down in the comment section your guys' thoughts on Kirk Cousins potentially coming to the New York Jets and maybe taking us back to the promised land, which is the playoffs, and hopefully get there for years to come. So that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts on Kirk Cousins, potentially coming to the Jets. And let me know down in the comment section. And with that being said, go Jets.